On today's try to finish something, it's time for the challenge. But first, a note about next week's challenge update, where I'm trying to do the Baby Yoda encased in carbonite. And with the holidays and everything going on, I'm not sure that video is going to be on time. I will try and have it out on Tuesday, but it might be later on in the week. But I'll get that as soon as I can get done, because I'm also still fired and I've got to find a job. I also need to shave. I'm starting to look like Aedo Morin of Fabrics. But anyway, back to today's challenge. As I mentioned last week, Odin from Odin Makes had said, hey, let's do something for Book of Boba Fett. Let's do a challenge. You make something and I make something, and we let everyone see whose is better. He's going to win. But it was funny when he brought it up, because he said, I'm going to make stuff out of foam and you make stuff out of, and I jumped in and said, crap, because that's pretty much what I do. I gather things that wouldn't necessarily be a Star Wars prop and try and see if I can make it a Star Wars prop. And so that's what I'm going to do. While he's making something in foam, I'm going to make something out of crap and see whose comes out better. And we have two things that we're making, but I first wanted to talk about something. Have you seen the pictures of this? This thing looks amazing. I'm going to do another Boba Blaster build, and this is the one I'm going to troop with, and I'm going to try and make it a little more accurate. And I have the actual aluminum scope, and the one from SKS Props almost looks better. This thing looks amazing. Part 1 is already out. I'll put a link in the video description, but you got to check out the SKS Props foam Boba Blaster build. It is amazing. So anyway, back to today's competition with Odin and I. Two things that we have to build. One, we're taking a trip to Tashi Station. Odin's going to come up with what a power converter actually is and what it does and what it looks like. I've got my own interpretation of it. I've got a couple different ideas of some things that I've got laying around that are going to become that, and I've got to come up with a story. But the other thing that I'm going to make is a weapon, and he's going to make a weapon from Book of Boba Fett. And I'm going to make I don't know what it is. I've seen it in the commercials. It kind of looks like an ion stun stick, but it's a very unique look, and I've got a really cool part that I found that I think I can turn into an ion stun stick. And I might do an interpretation of what you see in the commercials and do my own take on it, because I'm going to see more reference in the actual Book of Boba Fett that's coming out tomorrow, and I think I might want to remake it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. An ion stun stick, and I'm going to make a power converter. That's what I'm going to do on today's Try to Finish Something. So since I'm building my props out of random crap, here is my assortment of crap that I've collected. And I'm still trying to come up with the story behind what this is and what it does. This is the fan motor from the box fan that I took apart. The rest will be part of my Baby Yoda frozen in carbonite build, and I love the look of this dryer motor. This is from when I fixed my dryer a while back. Ooh, that fan motor has a smaller one of those coils. This is a military speaker from a surplus store and my old non-working Harbor Freight air compressor. I like this gauge and the feet. So I think this is my idea. In Star Wars, they were always talking about moisture evaporators, and it's a desert setting. So in my build, my concept of a power converter, converting something into power, is a battery or a power source of some sort that heats moisture, and that thermal energy creates the energy to power things on Tatooine. I'm going to use this coil from inside the fan housing somehow, use this pressure gauge from the air compressor somehow, and I think this military speaker is going to be my base. Jim Strunk lives in Texas and has a surplus cellar near him and sends me stuff from time to time, and he sent me this. Jim just started a new YouTube channel called Moss Pelgo Props. He just started, but I expect some really cool builds with the amazing stuff that he finds at that cellar. I'm pulling the speaker component out of this, and maybe I'll put the coil inside. And it looks like the fan cage might fit on there exactly. It looks like even the holes line up, and that's pretty lucky. I'm lucky. I got fired from my job, but at least these line up. See, my luck is changing. I'm gonna pull the bottom of this off and then gut it, and then take this to the belt sander and round the edges off so that it will fit inside the circular cavity where the speaker was. Sparky. I am also going to grind down and cut off the coil wires on one side of this so it's not as thick. And it looks like it fits. I'm going to use some Allen screws and wow, it really does fit. I am lucky. I'm just seeing if any of the lights that are already on this speaker already work. Ooh, wait a minute. I took apart one of these hazard flashlight lights, and they've got these LEDs that have cool patterns, and it might be really cool under the grill. Let me replace the batteries, and I'll show you. I wonder, if I bend the LEDs in a little, I wonder if I can make it fit inside. I think I'm going to need to rewire the whole switch and route it somewhere else. Yeah, I think I like this better than the coil, and I've only got room inside for one of them. I love that rotating pattern. This really fits with my story that I'm trying to tell with this prop, and I'm just trying a few different configurations. I'm going to dismantle the bulb setup here and see if I can replace the innards with an LED light so that I have power and a glow under that green lens. The sheath that is threaded was part of the bulb, and that's how it attaches. So I'm going to use some super glue and glue that sheath back in and see if that will work. Nice. I'm going to pull the switch off and mark the direction because there are 4 wires soldered to the board, and I will need to make long jumpers, and I want to make sure that I connect the right wires to the right spots. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to reuse the switch that it came with. Just soldering on the longer jumper wires and running those into the body of the speaker and attaching it back to the same switch. And look at that, it still works. I think the other 2 wires might have been for the flashlight. If they aren't necessary, I might use a different switch to cycle between the patterns. Yeah, the switch has to be front mounted to something, and I don't think I'm going to use it. I have another switch that I will use. I just did a rough masking of the speaker box and added a rust-colored primer. I figured you didn't care to watch me mask this, but unmasking, now that is exciting. So I wanted a rust face and the sides the same green that it was. I felt like I had to add some color or this whole project would seem like a cop-out, and I think I like it. I'm going to use a bit of this foam protective wrap to cut out as a diffuser for the lights. Put the lights in, then the diffuser, and ground off a lot more of one side of this fan coil, and I think I can actually squeeze it all in there. I'm going to screw it all in with Allen screws and do a first pass of weathering with brown and black water-based oils. By the way, I have mentioned I watch a ton of random videos and join different Facebook groups to learn different weathering techniques from people that all I have in common with them is weathering, and they are brilliant minifigure painters and model builders and so much more. There is so much talent out there, and I just started a new Facebook group called Weathering Props, Costumes, and Models. Now, different builders and artists can share their techniques and learn from each other, even though all they have in common is weathering. And I created it so that I can steal their ideas. I'm going to do some more weathering later. I just wanted to get a first pass on and get it drying. Now I'm just scratching it with different shaped objects and doing more weathering in a few places on top of those scratches to show that they were older scratches that are now covered with grime.
Now to figure out this personal moisture evaporator piece and gauge. I took it outside and tapped it to fit a bolt with the head cut off. Peel off the stickers and weather the bulb part 2. I just put a tiny bit of hot glue in the hole and dropped the bolt in. Now to help sell the mission and the in-universe feel of this Star Wars prop, I need some stickers. I bought these from SKS Props on Etsy. The sticker pack was created by Aedo Morin of Fabworks and sold through the SKS store on Etsy. And they are great grab-and-go, ready-made sheets for quick props like these. Once those are on, I weathered those stickers too. I'm going to add a few drips of rust using these Tamiya weathering palettes, just a few drips here and there. Last step for me is to add some powdered paint pigments in the recesses and add my last layer of dust. And here is my first entry into our competition, my moisture evaporator power converter, fresh from the Toshi Station Depot. Now to find Luke and pass it along now that Uncle Owen is trooper jerky. Moving on to my weapon. For the second entry, I'm going to do this glowing stick weapon thing that you see some soldiers or thugs or someone attacking someone that you later see Boba wielding. No idea what this thing is called, this glowing weapon stick thing, and I assume that Jon Favreau came up with a better name than glowing weapon stick thingy, but I'm not trying to do this one 100% accurate. I'm going to do an inspired by version of this weapon because Rob Rock in one of my nerd groups had mentioned this cool sanitary sight glass that is an inline glass that some are going to use for lights in their Star Wars room builds. The description says it's for you to observe the flow of fluids in a food or pharmaceutical setting. I have no clue what that even means, but it looks like what they might have used for the ends of those weapons. Now, since I just got fired from my job, Merry Christmas, I'm going to just use some plumbing scraps that I have sitting around and see if I can put together something close. Now, I'm going to sand all of this down to give it a bit more tooth to help the paint hold on. I'm just trying to put together a few odds and ends to get the right general shape as seen in the commercial. All right, I'm going to take this outside and paint it black. Now, time to figure out the lights for inside the weapon. I have this blue cellophane that we use to pack one of our Christmas presents, and this should help me with that sparkle-like look as seen in the commercial. I really don't like the way that that's being spread out in there. I'm going to use an idea that I saw Odin do in a past episode of his show. Yes, I am competing against him, and I am stealing his techniques. I am wrapping a piece of PVC pipe with the stick-on LEDs, and then I will wrap that in the cellophane and shove that inside this thing. I am now dabbing on pewter rub and buff and brown and black water-based oils and rubbing it everywhere. It doesn't matter if the silver is blotchy because I'm going to add a bunch of brown and black on top of it and you'll barely be able to see it. Now I'm going to band that with some of the corrugated tubing with the wire in it. I was going to put the wire down the inside shaft, but I actually like the exposed wire look. All right, I just weathered the top silver part and I'm wrapping the shaft with some fake brown leather. I'll tone it down with some weathering and I will add some of the powdered pigments on top of it. going to weather the end of this, and I think I might be done. All right, here is my entry into the Boba Challenge with Odin for a Boba weapon and the power converter, and I'm calling it finished. And I'm really excited for the first episode of Book of Boba Fett that is on Disney Plus tomorrow. I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. And if you didn't, as always, just keep it to yourself, and we'll see you next time as we try to finish something.
And there you go, my entries into the Odin Makes challenge, a weapon and a power converter. Make sure to check out Odin of Odin Makes tomorrow. He's going to have his entries, and then let us know which you think is better. And I already know he's going to win. It doesn't matter. It was just a lot of fun. Also, make sure to check out SKS Props. He has an amazing Boba Fett build with so much detail on that just in time for Book of Boba Fett. And he always makes his files available free so you can build one yourself. And I don't build things out of foam, but I am definitely going to give that a shot because it looks incredible. And if you haven't yet signed up on my Patreon page, this channel's all I got. If you sign up, when I get to 20 Patreon members, I am going to do a giveaway. I'm going to make another one of those droid head lamps. I have an IKEA single chandelier lamp that I'm going to make into a droid head that I'm going to give away as soon as I get to 20 members, just a random giveaway. And I think that's it. Make sure to check out Book of Boba Fett tomorrow. Yeah, because me telling you that's the thing that's going to push you over the edge. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Roll the music. Thanks for watching.